If you can go on that side, or if you want, we do have some more room on this side.
All right. Hey, everyone. So thanks for watching our live stream. Now, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, our app, our website, and on YouTube. So again, thank you for joining our live stream. We're going to be taking you to South Padre Island, where they're going to brief us on spring break 2020. Now, keep in mind, spring break in Texas usually starts around March 7th, ends around March 15th. And Oklahoma starts around March 14th, ends around March 22nd. So needless to say, SPI is going to be very big when time comes for spring break. So we're going to take you to the presser, then we'll come back on, we'll summarize what they talked about, and we'll have a web story with all the details. Let's go to SPI.
Good morning. Good. Okay. Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about our spring break preparations, and you're going to be hearing from our fire chief, Jim Pigg, and our police chief, Claudine O'Carroll. And so they're going to come up one at a time. They're going to explain what we have planned for this year, and then we're going to open it up for questions. Please wait until they are done, and then if we need to do individual interviews, then we will do that afterwards. So first up is Fire Chief Jim Pigg.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Pigg, Fire Chief, South Padre Island Ocean Rescue. Just here to explain a little bit about what we have planned for spring break, what's going on with the upcoming preparations. We're expecting a good spring break this year. We're wanting to be prepared so we have a safe, effective spring break for public safety. So a little bit about what we're planning. We have a mobile medical unit tent that's going to be at Tompkins Park, which is going to be up on the north end of the island. We'll have ambulances stationed there that'll be transporting critical patients or urgent care patients off the island to our local hospitals. We also will have an ambulance that will be staged at White Sands. That street will be closed to vehicular traffic, but pedestrians can obviously walk through to get down to the beach access. In that area, we'll also have ambulances staged again for critical patients. The ambulance will hold up to 15 patients at a time. So in the event that we have multiple victims or multiple patients at one time, we'll be able to put them in that bus, and then if we need to transport them to the tent, we can do that, or we can go ahead and transport them off the island over to one of our local hospitals. Our Beach Patrol and Ocean Safety people will be stationed at Clayton's Beach. They will be transporting any patients that come from that location over to the ambulance via the beach, and they'll be able to assess those patients at that location and decide what they want to do with them from there. We'll also have mobile lifeguards that will be monitoring the beach in between the Clayton's Beach Resort and Rockstar Beach. Rockstar Beach will have ambulances posted there as well. So any patients that will come off of that beach will be taken to an ambulance, and again, they'll be transported either to the tent or they'll be transported off the island to the local hospitals. In between, we're going to have, again, roving units that will be out there for all of our families and people that are out there taking advantage of the beach and the spring break that we're offering. While you're out there, we do want to advise that, if you are going to go swimming, you make sure that you swim with someone. You have somebody with you at all times. Again, on the beach, when you're out walking around, we're wanting to advise any of the pedestrians that are out there utilizing the beach not to take anything from anybody that they don't know. Don't drink from any kind of a can or any kind of a liquid container that could be compromised, and we want to make sure that everybody stays safe with that. So again, make sure that you're always with somebody. You're out there taking care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Don't go into the water intoxicated. Make sure that you use sunblock. You don't want to ruin your vacation by coming down here and first day you've got a major sunburn and you don't want to even go back out again. So again, we're going to be out there. We're going to be utilizing all ports on the beach. We're going to have multiple ambulances that are coming in. We have multiple agencies that are going to come in to help us out with transporting people off the island. We're going to be staffed with overtime, multiple people out here that will be available to assist. And we'll also have people that can come up to the fire department and utilize that area as well. We just want to emphasize safety. We want everyone to come out and go home, and want everyone to go home safely. So if anybody needs anything, they can come by the fire station, call the fire station. We have multiple people there that will be able to help out. and want to make sure that everybody just watches themselves, has a situational awareness about themselves, and to make sure that they come home safely. So does anyone have any questions at this time?
Right now, major construction going on Padre Boulevard. Is that going to finish by then for safety reasons?
It will be halted at that time. They're gonna take all of the construction that's going on in the middle of the island right now, and it'll go out to the north end, and they'll continue construction out on the north end, but they're gonna move it away from where the major traffic concerns will be.
Is this the first time you're using the ambulance?
Negative. We've used it several times in the past, and it works out very well for us.
Approximately how many agencies are you coordinating with for emergency services?
Just on the fire side, we have 6 agencies that we're using just for us. On the police side, there's multiple agencies that will be out here, and I'll let Chief O'Carroll address those when she comes up.
Do you have extra personnel this year for spring break?
Yes, we've staffed up for our beach patrol and ocean safety. We're going to have approximately 20 extra personnel that are going to be on scene for that period to help us transfer patients off of the beach and over to the ambuses and ambulances. And we're hiring, again, multiple people for that. We're not bringing any part-timers in from the fire and EMS side on the city, but we will have multiple people working overtime. So we are staffed up in preparation.
What are the things that you guys treat for the most? Like, what is it something that you guys specialize during spring break?
Mostly highly intoxicated individuals, people that are overdoing it, that drink too much. Then when they drink too much, that leads to assaults. So, you have broken lips or broken noses, that sort of injuries that are sustained through that sort of thing. Narcotics can sometimes be an issue for us, so we want to make sure that we're watching out for that. Again, that goes back to not to drink anything from a cup or a bottle that anybody gives you, because people do go out there and they will put substances in those liquids, and then people drink them and they run into a situation to where now they need medical assistance. Anyone else? All right, at this time I'll send it over to our police chief, Chief O'Carroll.
Good morning, Claudine O'Carroll. I'm the police chief here on South Padre Island. I did bring some sheet notes because I want to make sure I tackle all the major areas of concern. But primarily we're here to protect and serve the community for spring break, as we have done in the past. We're going to be fully staffed. We've began our hiring process and coming to the end of it. We have hired part-time police officers, we've hired our jailers, and we've hired our traffic control personnel to assist with the flow of traffic on the island. Some of the areas that we're preparing for are our major locations, which we have one on the north end of the island, Clayton's, which attracts a big crowd. And then we have the south end of the island down by Rockstar Beach, Isla Grande area, which attracts a big crowd. So there'll be heavy staffing in both areas. We had our external law enforcement meeting this week, and we met with our state and federal partners. And so they've all committed their assistance to us for the month of March. They're going to be present on the island to ensure safety and security for, again, residents and the visitors that come in. Services that we'll support here at the station, we will have, and I want to make a note of this, we will have crime victim support here at the station for anybody that gets into any bother out there on the island and that doesn't necessarily want to file any kind of police report. There will be crime victims advocates here at the station. They'll be set up for 2 weeks. We will have Texas Parks and Wildlife. We will have Homeland Security. We will have DPS to help the flow of traffic and to make sure our key times are 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. exiting the beach, where we have a lot of foot traffic coming off, and to get them securely to where they need to be so they can clean up and rest up before the evening's events. With that said, are there any questions related to any of our preparations?
I know in previous years there has been some concerns for the residents, especially near residential areas. Is there going to be more patrols for the residents?
Yes, sir. One of the things that we've started doing in the past year or two is monitoring social media. So we have a pretty good team that sits in our emergency operations center that monitors social media, so we see the hot spots before they happen. Everybody wants to broadcast, so we're savvy with that, and we send a response unit prior to it be getting out of control. And we have our short-term rental ordinance in existence where any rental properties that are short-term have to have a person responsible for that property present within an hour, which allows us access to that residence or that area that becomes a problem in the residential areas. So we have a couple of tools in place to help us now that we didn't have years back.
Will there be an increased law enforcement presence from compared to previous years?
I think the last couple of years we had a pretty good presence out here on the island from all the partners. I mean, on average, I don't want to go into numbers because it relates to security issues, but we've had a pretty good presence the last couple of years and have been able to keep everything relatively under control. I mean, we had one of the biggest concerts last year on the beach with Cardi B, and luckily enough, we had 0 incidents at that location. So I think we're getting it down.
How many drones do you have in use in this year?
I'm sorry?
How many drones do you guys have used in this spring break?
Drones?
Drones.
We have 2 on hand, and if we need to deploy them, we will. It'll depend on the matter or the area. You know, we have to respect an individual's privacy as well, but for public locations with mass gatherings, you know, we have their availability if we need to deploy.
Technology-wise, is it only drones that are going to be implemented?
Well, we have our drones, and pretty much that's, technology-wise, that's it. Along with our social media monitoring team, you know, that's now the new up-and-coming Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, you know, so we monitor that. We have some other technology that'll be available to us for investigation purposes here at the station.
In previous years, there was like mobile cameras that were being installed. Will those be installed as well?
We have cameras. We have access to different properties' cameras. We'll have access to some cameras on Laguna Boulevard. We'll have access to cameras on the north end in the area of Clayton's. We'll have access to some cameras that will give us an idea of where the crowds are and where the problems are. Again, our function is not necessarily to be watching, it's just to identify problem areas prior to them becoming an issue.
You kind of touched a little bit about the, I guess, the command center happening here.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate on what that is and what it's used for?
Well, we usually operate the Emergency Operations Center for the period of March, kind of the second week on till close to the end of March. And it has representation from police, city management, fire, emergency services. It gives us access to all the cameras so we have a central location where everybody can meet instead of being at different areas trying to coordinate a response to any kind of issue. We're all in the same area and we can effect an immediate response because all the resources are present. And it's also the area that houses our social media team.
What can you tell me about the safety measures that would be implemented, you know, maybe during late night hours, especially with, you know, individuals maybe transferring or walking through Padre Boulevard?
Well, that just goes back to our heightened law enforcement presence. You know, we will be trading out shifts and we'll be bringing in a fresh crew for the evening, and then they'll be responsible for the continued patrols where we may divert from the beach to more in the entertainment areas where, you know, the clubs and bars are, to make sure we're facilitating everybody's safe passage. You know, I know Beach Reach will be here on the island at that time, so you'll have the free transport vans. We encourage our spring breakers to use them. They'll take you to your destination safely. We encourage, just like the fire chief said, be with a buddy, you know, don't be alone in public. You know, so we'll have our staff and our extra staff also, you know, doing that when they're out in the public meeting with the kids out there.
I know, I think it was 2 years ago that they had a program here where they had people on the island that were doing blood draws so as to facilitate not having to drive into Brownsville to do blood draws on someone who was intoxicated and have to.
Yes.
Are they doing that again?
Yes, ma'am. That program will be in play. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Not bad, okay. Well, thank you, guys. So if you would like to, let's.
All right, so we just heard a little bit about spring break plans at South Padre Island. So we're actually going to have a web story that we're going to put out in a few minutes that update you on the details that we just heard in the press conference. So stick around for that. You'll find it on our KINS 5 social media like Facebook, Twitter, and our website, as well as our app. So I'm Lexi Hazlett. Thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. Make sure to stick around for Eyewitness News at noon.